42 years after the first Star Wars movie appeared, the final chapter in the saga is finally here. Now, everyone knows that the Rise of Skywalker is going to be a big, global, cultural event. But what people don't recognize is how much that first Star Wars movie ended up shaping the big, global culture we're all swimming in now. See, back in the day, when I was a kid, only serious nerds, and I was one of them, really cared about starships or hyperspace computers or blasters or aliens. But then in 1977, Star Wars changed all of that. Star Wars kind of made everybody a nerd. And then some of those nerds went out and rebuilt the world. From smartphones to genetic engineering to GPS that work via orbiting satellites, we live in a world built by nerds who were all raised on steady diets of science fiction. Is it any wonder then that science fiction, in the form of space movies or superhero TV shows or streaming miniseries about robots, dominate that world now? But back in 1977, loving science fiction was like living on a starvation diet. Other than a few gems, what was out there for us lonely nerds was slim pickings. And even the good shows that existed were really mostly reruns from the 50s and 60s. Then came Star Wars. Finally, we had a fully fleshed out science fiction universe complete with killer space stations, air cars, robots, and totally boss aliens. The success of Star Wars was followed by 2 sequels. Then came the Star Trek, Terminator, and Alien movie franchises. And all of that was just a run-up to the Avengers taking over the world. So as this decade comes to a close, nerd culture is pop culture. Now, as an astrophysicist, I gotta tell you, this makes me really happy. The kid in me never stopped loving science fiction, space, and tech stories. Now they're everywhere. But it wasn't just great stories and great special effects that made nerd culture so dominant. Something else happened that transformed our culture, and it goes right back to the first Star Wars movie. In the 1990s, the digital revolution, which had been gaining speed for a decade or so, exploded with the birth of the internet. Then, in the 2000s, the internet gave birth to social media. Computer tech, one of the most basic elements of science fiction, was transforming everything. The way we shopped for our shoes, how we navigated around our cities, even how we found love. And who was building all this tech? Nerds. Suddenly, nerds were becoming business titans. Nerds were in power. And in this process, they were literally making science fiction fantasies real. Remember those flip phones? Well, the engineers who designed that had Star Trek communicators in mind when they created them. Today, billionaire nerds like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos run their own rocket companies that might one day give us Mars settlements. Now that is definitely the stuff of science fiction. And what was Elon Musk's favorite science fiction movie? The original Star Wars. Star Wars made the nerds, and the nerds made the world. So, later, when you're streaming that Marvel superhero movie on Netflix, and you check your Apple Watch to see when Amazon is going to deliver your Google Home security system, step back for a moment and remember, all of this began in a galaxy and a decade not too far away.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.